Hey everyone, this is Proilios. Welcome back to another VOD review. And today we are going to be helping out a Master's Doomfist player. He genuinely wants to get better at the game. He doesn't want to drop back down into Diamond, and uh, he's asked for my help. So I'm going to try and see if I can help him improve at Doomfist. And he does play a bit of Echo in this, but let's see when he actually pulls that hero out. So this is a King's Row game, and the player we are reviewing is Sneezy, who's on the red team. Um, so let's first see the compositions that are going to be run here. So King's Row A, pretty versatile point. There is a fair bit of high ground here, so pretty good point for Doomfist, because if you can control this whole high ground, then it gives you plenty of different opportunities for engages. You can flank around here and engage, you can come over here and engage. So like controlling the high ground as Doomfist is really powerful, especially on a map like this, right? Alright, but one thing I'm noticing here is that the enemy comp is a pretty rough one to run Doomfist into. They've got a Roadhog whose hook can mess you up, the McCree whose flashbang can mess you up, then Echo just plays outside your range, right? So she can just like take up like far off positions from you and engage you when you're caught in the middle of your uppercut or something like that. Otherwise, I mean, normally it would be a pretty straightforward uh, sort of cycle for you, which is to go after the Ana, because Ana is probably the most vulnerable target out of these guys to your rollouts. If you can pick the Ana off consistently, then I would say you'll get value, but it's going to be tricky with these three CC cooldowns that are like the two CC cooldowns, which is the flashbang and the hook, which can really mess you up, as well as Echo's burst damage in general. And plus, if the Ana's aware, she can also sleep you while you're uppercutting or just engaging her. So a really rough comp. I'm not sure if you run Doomfist into this or if you're pulling out Echo right now, but the other player seems to have picked Echo. So, well, I like the Widow pick if she like your core DPS is actually going to play that. So let's see. I'm looking for you to try and control the high ground as much as possible. Let's see what you do. Okay. Poke around a bit. Are we doing the high ground thing? Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've just lost our ball. So since our main tank is down, we don't engage. We just need to poke around and make do with that. Because like at least for now, I think since you're playing into such a rough comp, you need to wait for your ball to engage and then engage at the same time, because it just creates a big enough distraction for you to maybe get a pick off, right? And I would say your primary target has to be the Ana. There's no one else you can, I think, consistently pick off. Like maybe you pick off the McCree because his hitbox is large enough, but then you have to watch out for the flashbang. So yeah, let's see. I'm just going to see whether or not you go for the Ana. That's your most valuable target. Right now we just spoke. We engage, we miss, rolls away and we die. It's just rough, you know. It's like when especially when the McCree and like all of the enemy players know where you're coming from, it's especially harder for you to get value. So I would say with the enemy comp, like one that counters you a fair bit, you need to be more sneaky and engage from an angle which they won't be able to like guess you're coming from, right? So if you take this high ground, I think this would be a solid angle. Or if the Ana's holding here, you could maybe wrap around to this high ground, charge your punch and punch her into this wall, which is also a very good option. Or if you see her use a sleep dart, then you can engage with your E, and then like E shoot, uppercut shoot. That combo will do the trick, right? So yeah, I'm looking for more creative engages here, because engaging head on against that comp, I don't think is going to give you anything, unless the enemy team makes a major blunder. And our Echo's dead as well, so we just reset here. attacks. See, once again, we try to go in we try to go in head on, and that just makes it easier for the enemy team to land abilities and damage onto us, right? So let's see if you change things up. I'm not gonna repeat the point more right now. We're going for the high ground, which I like. I don't know if you've seen the... Okay, now you know the hog's up there, I'm guessing. Okay, good. See, it's a hog and disengage. Our Echo's dead again. What do we do? Okay, not bad. They rest their hogs, so we still can't engage. But you see what I'm talking about here, though. It's been 1.5 minutes, and we are still at 32% ult charge, right? You've barely gotten any value. Partly because you're playing like a poor hero against the comp, but also partly because you're engaging quite predictably, so they can anticipate where you're going to be and plan their movement, plan their cooldowns accordingly. Right? Like at this point, I would seriously consider switching off, because 2.5 minutes maybe gives you time for one good swap. Like I would say go Widow, or like just so that you can outrange them and pick someone off. Or maybe go Sombra if you want to like build quick EMPs and hack the hog and just mess up his cooldowns. There's a ton of better options you can go for here. But Doomfist is just like, I think, one of the worst. Let's see if you end up getting any value. Get nanoed? Oh man. Get one kill, but again it's rough, right? Okay, it's just like, I know once you get nanoed, you sort of have to go in aggressively, and I don't know if Ana communicated that she's going to nano you, but once again it's just a rough fight. I'm not sure if we are going to win it, but we picked off a DPS, so it's like a fairly even trade. Oh, we lose this fight. Get back up here on the high ground. Hello, yes. Okay. Disengage. It's been 3.25 minutes. Take the high ground. Come on. That's a good one. Our Ana's down, but we can still go for it. Okay, good disengage. But still out in the open. So it's a little bit tricky, like, but so I'm just going to rewind it, otherwise I'll just be babbling on. Alright, so we got a good punch in here. I think this is a good engagement. And then we engage the McCree. We figure out that we haven't gotten much value with the slam and we can't uppercut someone. We disengage. We disengage behind the shield, but then the shield breaks and then we get killed by the McCree, I think. Yeah. I think a better way would just be to try and disengage as close to a corner as possible rather than to a shield. I know it was like a tough call to make in the spur of the moment, but try and condition yourself so that when you disengage closer to cover. You really shouldn't consider things like a Sigma shield as cover, in case you're wondering about that, because that can break. If you take hard cover, nothing can break that. So we lose this fight as well. I mean, the enemy team has 4 ults and so do we, so this is once again sort of an even fight. I think if the Ana can nano you, Well, if you can, like, what I would do in this situation is again reposition somewhere on the high ground, get nanoed by Ana, get a clean engage on the enemy Ana. That's like our best bet right now, because if we take out the Ana, right, we take out the enemy Ana, we've got our ultimate. We can use Meteor Strike, camp the body so that Mercy cannot res in time. So that's what I think we should do. But I don't know about the communication in ranked is pretty poor, so I'm not expecting something as strategic as that. There's a hog hiding here. So we got nanoed again. That's not the... I think we just saw... Yes. Perfect. That's it. Oh, we don't punch this area. We don't punch this area here. Get her? Okay, nice. That's okay, scrappy fight. So what I was talking about earlier with the Zarya was that let's finish capping, then sound effect can be disabled. Nice shot. So what I was saying earlier was that when the Zarya got nanoed, we already knew that the enemy Ana was alone in a vulnerable position, so it was probably an easier decision to go after her. It was probably an easier move to go after her and finish her off, but it's okay. I think we still capped the point. It wasn't like it's not a big deal. So they've got a Reinhardt now, so they're playing Rein Zarya. Zarya overextended. It's still a fairly rough count to play Doom into. I feel we should really be controlling the high ground more, because we are one of the most mobile characters in the lobby at this moment. If we can just control this high ground, we can prevent their echo from taking the high ground. Just sort of be an active threat to everybody here. So just so they'll keep a lookout. So it's like splitting up somebody's attention is like if as Doom you can make the enemy team worry and constantly look for you, you are indirectly creating space for your team. You're actually doing a tank's job, right? So if you can be a bit more sneaky, control the high ground, just make the enemy team like wonder where you're going to engage from. That's pretty high value, and plus it's easier for you to do rollouts from high ground. I'm not saying at like from this position you'll be able to get some high value rollouts, but it's still going to like be a psychological threat to the enemy team, which I think is the most you can do at this point. Ah man, we just kind of pressed W and died. Can't be so predictable. Good punch. Okay. It's left. I think we are okay though. So this point is point B. Kinsro is also pretty sick for Doomfist, right? Because once again, like once you reach this turn with the payload, you've got this high ground, which is pretty damn strong. Because if, like, let's say the team fight is happening here for the defenders somewhere, right? We can sneak here around the back and engage. Or let's say they are fighting up here. We can engage from here and just keep doing rollouts. We've got a health pack to help us out here. There's plenty of things you can do on this point, but like not at that choke, unfortunately. So now that up cart has reached up to this point, oh yeah, you can even flank around here. So now that we've reached here, it should be a pretty smooth ride. You should just focus on doing clean and sneaky engages. even if you keep the backline occupied, you're still doing a lot, right? So let's see. I would really like you to control high ground a bit more. The echoes behind us. Okay. She's dead. It's really not your job to push the cart. That should be your Ana's job. I don't like this engage either. It's again a straightforward, pretty predictable engagement. With nanos. And we get punished. Now. Okay. Poor Shadow. So once again you got nanoed, and then these nanos generally don't seem to be getting a ton of value, right? Because I don't know if you were doing with this Ana or what, but the nano Doomfist isn't working out, and it's partly because you don't start off in a very valuable position, right? Because as Doomfist you need to be able to control the high ground. Once again, I'm saying it's incredibly important that you control the high ground, because if you start from the high ground, it gives you more options for engagement. So for example, you can engage with E, then do an uppercut and punch out onto the high ground once again, or you can drop down, you can punch someone into a wall, which King's Row has plenty of walls, by the way. So these one-shot punches, not that hard to land. So you can do those and then uppercut and retreat to the high ground again. So it gives you a sort of perch if like that board makes more sense to you.
My work is not done.
30 seconds. Heal up.
Fall back, fall back, fall back.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Okay. Oh, we are dead, I think. Okay, Hanzo's an easy target. We're touching that. I think we lose this top. Hang on, don't tell me we win this. What? This is crazy, man. Let's see that mobility. I mean, the enemy team just messed up really badly. Nano Doom again. That's fine, right? The messier the fight, the better it is for Doomfist. Yikes. So actually they made things a little bit easy for you by swapping from McCree to Hanzo, because Hanzo is a little bit easier for you to deal with, right? He doesn't have a stun. All you need to make sure is that he doesn't see where you're coming from, and that you engage him only at close range, because if you engage him at close range, it doesn't matter if he lands like an arrow or a storm arrow on you, because you've generated shields by then, which sort of make it easier for you to confirm the kill on him, right? Make you a bit tankier. Make use of this. You are going for the answer, that's good. Standard engage. Oh, we can. So. Okay. Just unlucky. Unlucky.
Lifting off. Schutzengel ist da.
I lost
Don't engage, so you get it punch back.
Engage. Doomfist.
You're just getting punished. So far, I'm not convinced. I don't think a Doom pick, like the hero itself, is wise to play into the comps you're playing against. And so far, your approach to playing Doomfist hasn't been the most cerebral, I would say. You have to be smarter about your engagements. You're doing okay in scrappy fights. I mean, that's where Doom excels anyway, because you can just sort of spam your cooldowns like in the right position at the right people and get value. But when it comes to engagements, you're not getting too much value, right? It's, I think, mostly your like tanks and your supports that are making like more plays. So yeah, I mean this like so far I would say like I would say you sort of understand what Doomfist is, but you're still not sure about making decisions as him, right? You're not sure about the different playstyles and different approaches that you need to take based on the enemy composition. So no worries, I'll keep on giving you more ideas as they come up. Alright, so yeah, this is one popular position as Doomfist, but I wouldn't say I prefer this position a bit more, this high ground. And the reason I prefer it more is because it gives you like it also gives you the opportunity to flank around here a little bit, or like take that high ground a little bit, and like just sort of dance between the high grounds and use many different sorts of engages. Like if you're here, like you need to first use some cooldowns and get to this high ground, and then you can get towards your team. So like it's a little bit harder to put into words for me. But yeah, okay, so just think of it this way, right? This if you take this high ground, it gives you the opportunity to be aggressive as well as passive, because if you sense that they've got certain heroes that can counter you again, like a Roadhog or a McCree, you want to play more passively. And in that case, I would say you play with your team, like not with your team as in on the low ground, but play on this high ground maybe, and then like look for engages when the enemy team pushes in. And if they are playing heroes, like if they aren't playing a lot of CC, then you can maybe go a bit more aggressive, flank around here, maybe get a punch kill over here and retreat to that high ground. So it just gives you more of a reach and more space, so to speak. Plus, a lot of people really like to go for the health pack when they are rotating, and this gives you an easy either E uppercut engagement or like a one-shot punch into this place. So let's see how things go. The position you've taken is not bad, by the way. It's still a good position. It's going to be harder for you to re-establish high ground from here, though. You just have to kind of punch back towards your team. And then you lose the high ground, and that's again one more set of cooldowns to get back up to the high ground. Standard engage. I mean, you can't do anything other than just pressure the tanks a bit more here. Oh, this is good. Lost our Rhine. really scrappy again. Ana wasted her nano. Let's see what you could have done better. So we are here with our team, we are just poking around. So I would say what you can do in such a scenario is play a more defensive style. Because you know if you go too aggressive, the echo can easily catch you off guard. So if you can play along with your, play sort of like sort of in your midline, so to speak. And when the enemy ball engages, just try and make life hell for him, because the more ball gets CC'd, the harder it is for him to grapple out. So combined with your Ana sleep dart and your CC, you can just render ball useless. So for example, when he slams down, you can just punch him to a position he doesn't want to be in, and then just mess him up. So I would recommend that you play a more defensive style of of Doomfist here. This skill's fine, but then we lost our Reinhardt. When we lose our Reinhardt, we should really be kiting a bit more. Because if we can regroup, we can maybe give up 2 ticks and come back, right? So at that time, you should just kite. Call out to your team that you want to get back, and then go after 2 ticks. Like by this time, your team would have respawned and been here. Anyway, they cap A. I would say it's still a good idea for you to try and hold the high ground and generally be around here so that your healers can see you, as well as Zarya can bubble you if they need be. So if you can, maybe from this side you could have established this high ground. You can prevent the Echo and the Hanzo from taking up the space. And you can also be within the line of sight of your team, so you can get healed back up. And that is if your team is defending there. If you guys are defending you, actually it's not even a bad choice if your team is defending at this choke. If you can just stay up here and deny space to the enemy DPS, that's fine, that's good value. Yeah, that's a good punch. Well, I wouldn't have... I don't like that you committed more cooldown stuff though. Okay.
My ultimate is ready. For the Crusaders!
Okay, we hold this. Okay, okay. We are not holding the position. Again, it's crappy, so we just sort of go in and get value because we press all our abilities. And then we die. We just got a bit more over enthusiastic. Don't overcommit. Even if you have a nano boost on you, never overcommit. I don't want to break down what happened in the rest of that fight. I'm just trying to focus on your player. We should wait for our team. We got value there, so I'm not complaining. Still a risky engage, but okay. Good punch. That's good. I like that. Nice, nice, good. I didn't like that initial engage on the Hanzo. It was fairly risky. If the enemy team were more aware or had landed their abilities, you would have been punished severely. But after that, you did a bang on job with the remaining 2 engagements, so that's okay. Good stuff. The enemy team has a lever. Unlucky for them. I mean, I can't really coach much in a 5v6, but
Adaptive circuits engaged.
the Echo still seems to be doing well. I think everyone just sort of eases up too much when the enemy team loses a player, which you should not do. Just get a punch kill and the player's back. Okay. A minute 52 remaining. So what you can potentially do if Ryan's confident he can land a shatter is you can combo your meteor strike with a shatter. So if he shatters someone, you just confirm the kill on some squishies by ulting and landing on top of them. Sure, there are better ways to use your ult, like for disengaging primarily, but the combo is worth it. You secure one team fight, it's a long walk back for them. It's worth it, I would say. They're running a main now. This is a good position. Now that you've got a ball, it's easier for you to pick players off because the ball's pile driver also does a good chunk of damage, so it's easier for you to get confirm kills. See, that's so good. Scrappy, so you excel in this again. That's cool. Ball and Doom is a really underrated combo. If you manage the engagements well together, you can instantly pick off like one squishy to start the fight off with and win 6v5.
Get in position.
The enemy team's got a Sombra now, so we have to be more careful. Okay, so remember, when you're stuck with stickies as Doomfist and you think you're going to die, just ult if you have it available, right? Because it'll cancel the damage from the stickies, it'll give you a chance to escape, or it'll give you a chance to confirm a kill on someone, whatever the situation calls for, right? So always remember, if you think you're going to die and you have your ultimate as Doomfist and the fight is winnable, these 3 conditions, you can use your ultimate just to escape death that time, right? Oh, we got res. I'm gonna go back here. Okay, we die here and then we are going to get rest in like 3 seconds. Okay. I like that we went for the Ana initially, at least. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. Classic combo.
Just what I
That's fine. Okay, GG's. So overall, what I would say you need to take away from this VOD review are the following points. Firstly, if a hero is not working, it's usually pretty evident. If you're stuck at like 33% ult charge after a minute and a half of your attack time, it's probably time to consider a swap. because the enemy teams, like the defenders, are not going to swap to anything that benefits you, right? They are going to remain with that same comp. So you are the one that needs to counterpick and has the opportunity to counterpick. So I would say take it, because y- you get the chance to try 2 or 3 different things maybe during a single attack. And like Doomfist was, like I said, literally one of the worst picks I could have thought of against that comp. So faster switching, I would suggest. You didn't play Echo in this game, so I'm not sure if you mix this up with some other word, but yeah. So quick switches. Secondly, if you're playing Doomfist against whichever comp, really, if you have the opportunity, engage unpredictably, because it's easier for you to land your cooldowns that way. If the enemy team doesn't anticipate where you're coming from, they are less likely to land their CC abilities onto you. So faster, cleaner engages always focus the enemy backline. Like if the enemy team has an Ana, I would say just go for the Ana. Keep going for her, because uh, let's say when you engage her, let's say you engage her with seismic slam, right? If she wants to survive, 99% of the time she will nade herself. Then if you uppercut her, maybe 90% of the time she'll try and sleep you, right? So like these, even if you don't kill the Ana, you will force her to expend her cooldowns on you, which is still massive value, right? Because you ultimately win with the battle of attrition, or the battle of resources, so to speak. So sneakier engages, faster swaps. Um, Again, do not engage head on. Like I said, more sneaky engages. But if you engage head on, the enemy team's easily going to land abilities on you, and you don't want that. Especially like Doom is such a situational hero that that's like it takes like the stars to align for that to be a perfect composition for Doom to play into. But that was an especially bad comp. Like I said, I'm sorry for repeating that point again and again, but and also you need to exploit the high ground more, right? Because nobody on the enemy team was taking the high ground that much, which means you could have had free reign of it, and that would have given you way more opportunities for engages. And Kings Row is a really solid map for Doomfist overall, because all 3 points have high grounds that Doomfist can exploit. So I would say point. Generally, when people think of Kings Row, they're just like Ryan Zarya, but like points A, B, and C are all good for flankers, or for solo divers. Not so much for, like, you can play dive comps on A and C, but not so much on B. But flankers like Doomfist, Sombra, Tracer Genji, even, they are good on all 3 points, because there's so many solo flank routes that you can take. So make use of that. Make use of the high ground. Switch to another hero if you know that yours isn't working out, and sneaker engages as Doomfist. Your like Doomfist has a very clear cut cycle, right? He has to use either his E engage, E shoot, uppercut shoot, and then punch out, or he has to drop down, get a one shot punch kill, and then uppercut E and disengage. So if you just keep on following this cycle, so to speak, you can get a ton of value. It's really very like scientific more than it is like artistic in a way. You could think of it that way. It's you can be a creative Doomfist. I think if you've seen a Doomfist player like get quaked on, he's a really creative guy, because he has all these set rollouts which he performs, and he's very technical. Like, he's very scientific in his thinking, but he's really artistic with his engages. And then you've got someone like Chips, who's just like, he's got a really sharp mind. He knows that there are some really basic things he needs to do as Doomfist, and he just does those things really well. That's what makes him one of the greatest Doomfist players on ladder. So anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I hope you found this review useful, Sneezy. And to all of you guys, if there are any points I missed out on, please let me know. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it was informative. If you liked it, do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yep, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.